Heyo, how are you guys doing? Hope you're having a great new year. I know it's been 6 months since my last upload. Entire year if I wanna go down that stupid New Year's joke. But anyways, and a lot has changed, specifically me. I would like to look back at the previous year and see how much have I changed and how far I came. And with today being the first day of the big 2026, I thought that there would be no better time than today to make this video. Reflect on how my year has gone and sort of plan what's next for this year. Brief intermission, my dog has decided to join us today. She's kind of a big bitch if you want to ask me. Her name is Ruby. I think this is the first time she actually appeared on camera. I don't know if she has appeared or not, but I'm gonna show a picture of her. She's a sweetheart. She's kind of a bitch sometimes, but hey, she is worth the whole world for me. Now, I want to preface this video by saying this is not a look back at the entirety of 2025 as a whole. This is a look back at my 2025. Kind of a casual conversation and looking back at the past. With that being said, let's start with... I can definitely say that oh god. Really appreciate you joining us today. How embarrassing. I can definitely say that my outlook on life in general has changed a lot. And I also could say that for as long as I remember, it didn't feel like my life was very meaningful in a way. It was very routinely living each day by day, and it kinda got boring. And to add insult to injury, I haven't really done anything that I am personally proud of. Sure, there were developments to my mental health, and I can definitely say I'm way happier than before. Oops, sorry. But my problem is I felt like I haven't actually accomplished anything I wanted to do. Sure, there are some things that I can definitely say I'm proud to nearly achieving. Mainly that next semester will be my final education semester ever. Please. Yes, finally I'll graduate from college this year, and so that I can finally reach my final form. Unemployed. But that's not what I want. As you can definitely tell by the making of this video or by just checking the channel in general, I want to be a YouTuber. I don't want to work with my college degree that I will soon get. This has always been my dream job ever since I was in like the 4th or 5th grade. And I'm totally proud that I took the steps necessary to start the channel. But here's the thing, what good is a step when you can't even be bothered to be consistent? Secondly, looking back at my videos, even the most recent ones, I'm not very proud of these videos. They feel rushed, uninspired, and my commentary doesn't feel like it has changed since the first video I've uploaded, I think 2 years ago at this point. I understand that I'm still an amateur at best YouTuber, and that there's still a lot of stuff that I need to learn about how to run a YouTube channel, but I just want to feel like I am doing something, not just recycling the same old things, recording a video, editing it, and then posting it with a very shitty thumbnail, I want to say, which actually leads nicely with my first quote-unquote character development, as I so unironically named. One day while I was rotting in bed, I decided to take a very good look at my life, at the current state of it and how it's gonna end up. Kind of a prediction of how it's gonna end up. I started asking what the hell am I doing and why hasn't anything changed around me, until I came to the realization that I am the problem. I am the lazy one. I am not the one who puts in blood, sweat, and tears and effort into the stuff he wants to do. I feel like I have left a lot of my life aspects abandoned. I have not tended to them. I have not tried to improve on them. I just left them as they are. Kind of started it, but never really came around to finishing it, if you know what I mean. And so I decided that enough is enough. I need to get off my lazy ass and start doing something, anything, to kill this monotonous life that I've... So I started doing it, step by step. I took a close look at some of the aspects that are important to me in my life, and starting, doing it slowly but surely, going somewhere. I'm not gonna really specify what are these aspects because I feel like they're very personal to me, but hey, you can go off with your imagination. And it all has led up to this very script that I'm right now reading out to you. I can definitely feel the fruits of the effort I did. I needed to rethink a lot of aspects about YouTube, especially how I make videos, how I write scripts, and how I edit these said videos. And I also need to rethink the core content itself, the thing that separates real quality human-made content from slop. And with the rise of AI slop, it feels more important to me than ever to start putting out real quality human-made, might I add, content. And to do that, it's very simple, I think. All I need to do is just take my time when making these videos, not rush them, and put in the effort needed. Even this video took a lot of time for me because I've rewritten the script like 3 different times. I know that this goal is gonna be hard to achieve, but with time, patience, and practice, I will get there eventually. Oh, speaking of which, I have remembered another character development. I actually quit smoking. I know, weird. I never thought that there would be a day where I actually don't smoke anymore. I've thrown it all away. I stopped smoking. I stopped puffing from vapes. So I don't really know the terminology for smoking vapes or puffing or whatever the fuck
you stupid
the kids use nowadays, but smoking as a whole is now behind me. The decision came to me when my vape actually broke. I don't know how or why exactly, but it just decided to break, and I really didn't want to pay the money to fix it, nor did I want to pay money to get another one. So I just decided that fuck it, I'm not gonna smoke anyways. It, like the script says, it felt like the perfect opportunity to quit now. So I put my old vape back in the box, and I threw all away the e-liquid bottles, the empty and new ones, and I just decided threw that all the way in the trash and never looked back. I do have an app that I use, but I can't really show you because I'm actually recording it right now using the phone, but I'm gonna like put a screenshot of how many days I have been smoke free, if that's the right terminology. Though I can say it's really a good decision. I don't feel like I really took like a full step to quit nicotine in general, because I still use pouches, and these are expensive as hell, and they're kind of not as satisfying as smoking a cigarette. Nothing really beats that feeling, but like I'm proud that I took this. Also, this is Swedish. I don't know or understand anything written on it because Swedish is not even like my third language, so let's hope that there's no like fucking pesticides in it or something like that. Okay, with these I feel like we have gone through most of the character development I have gone through. Remember, I'm not like spewing out the entire thing. I'm not like talking about details because again, a lot of it feels very personal to me, but overall that's kind of how it went, the general idea. And obviously there's still more to come. 2026 just started. Who knows what kind of mind-bending adventure I'm gonna go on next. Now let's talk about something a little bit more lighthearted with what sort of gaming channel would I be if I didn't shove gaming into anything and everything I can, right? So kind of a small detail about me, I'm not someone who plays a lot of games. Now let me explain, because this might sound weird because I'm a gaming channel and I know a lot of games, so how can I not play a lot of games? Simple, really. I live in Egypt. Yeah, that's it. That's just the whole bit. I live in Egypt. See, in Egypt, games here are stupidly expensive to get, especially now with the current AAA slop costing around $70. And truth be told, I can't afford all that shit. So there's two options I can go. Either number one, I'm gonna go to the way of the pirate, or number two, I'm gonna save up enough money to buy me a $10 gift card so that I can buy a game with it from the store, mainly during sales. Both are very valid options, but they come with the caveat that I not only cannot buy the games that people are talking about nowadays, like for example Expedition or God of War Ragnarok or whatever, but I also have to be really picky about what type of game I'm gonna buy next with these $10. The final cherry on top, I have a PS4. Now listen, do not mistake this for disgust, my dear viewer. I love the PS4. I have so many fond memories with this thing. I have played so many great games on it. And sure, maybe I'm missing out on a ton of really cool experiences. Speaking of which, congratulations for Expedition 33 for winning every award humanly possible. But still, the experiences on this thing are so good and varied that I really don't feel like it doesn't sting as much when I miss out on a really good game. So for last year, I have played a total of 7 different games from 2 completely different franchises. In January, I played one of the most action-packed, technically challenging, iconic character spawning franchises of all time.
Let's rock, baby.
If you've been following me or somehow I ended up on your For You page in the last year, you would know that I am obsessed with Devil May Cry franchise. Since I'm not only a new fan, I've played all 5 games. Not that one though, I'm not gonna play that one. I don't care how low its price is in sales, I'm not touching this one. And how much I would shove Virgil into everything and anything I can.
I am the storm that is approaching.
While I am not a good or like a professional DMC player, the basic combo strings that I do are enough for my one singular neuron in my brain to activate and pump out dopamine. The characters are all well written and are very iconic. Please Capcom, give us DMC 6, I beg of you! Overall, I 100% recommend playing through DMC as the franchise, because it's really good and you're gonna love it, especially if you're someone who is especially Devil May Cry 5. It has the best gameplay out of all the games in the series, but that's my personal opinion. I know you DMC 3 lovers would really dogpile on me right now, but genuinely DMC 3, great game, amazing story, amazing characters, and amazing gameplay as a whole. But for me, DMC 5 feels more like an anime or something. I just love DMC 5, okay? Fuck off. Another franchise that I've played through recently was the... And wow, I had no idea what I was getting myself into. While the story and the world building and everything in between is really cool and awesome and intriguing, what really makes this game so good for me as well, the gameplay. The basic gist of it all is that you're dropped into a very small sandbox area and you're given an objective. Now, the real fun begins with how you approach this objective. I know that there are a lot of games that have done this before, but for me personally, Dishonored was the first gaming franchise that I actually got to experience this as a whole. There are so many ways you can reach an objective. Tons of collectible upgrades that are scattered around the world, and with the powers the game gives you, traversing becomes more fun each and every time you replay this game. And with the chaos system, it really feels like your actions have consequences and affects the world around you, depending on if you are a murderous bastard or a silent rogue. It genuinely makes me avoid getting the bad ending because I can't make my homeboy Samuel sad. Now, take all these things, expand on it, add a second character, and you get Dishonored 2. Such an awesome and well done sequel, to the point that I feel like it could be, to some people, surpasses Dishonored 2. And with the amount of little differences you can make during the ending on top of the major ones, it really adds to the replayability of the game. 10 out of 10, would definitely go for whiskey and cigars later. As for the rest of the year, I have been revisiting old games that I've been playing. Nier Automata is an awesome hack and slash game with a very deep and existential story that has got me to tear up multiple times. Batman Arkham Knight is graphically amazing for a 10-year-old game. The game mechanics and story are very well done and developed. I also replayed through Hollow Knight because I hated how much I didn't like this game, and after finishing it multiple times, I can definitely say that I was stupid and I suck. This game is a 10 out of 10 masterpiece. The music is amazing, the gameplay is amazing, the story is chef's kiss. My dog wants to get out. Can't fucking kill me. And fighting the Radiants at the end was one of the toughest things I've ever done in my entire gaming career. 10 out of 10, would definitely recommend. And as I'm writing this video, or as I'm recording this video, I'm sorry, what? I'm actually going through Silksong, but at my own pace. I have reached Morrowind and defeated him. Whatever pronouns Morrowind has. And I have actually stopped there because I got sidetracked because I got Sonic Frontiers. And gotta say, I have very mixed feeling about this game. Sonic Frontiers as a Sonic game is really cool. It has something new with the Sonic formula. And I do feel that the story kind of reminds me of the adventure games with a very gritty or realistic or darker tone, if you want to call it that. But the game's technical aspect kind of ruins the experience for me a bit. I'm not saying it's bad, though it definitely feels rushed sometimes, especially the story near the end, felt like it was rushed, and it feels like they just ran out of budget, which I think is the real deal. To the point that they need to add a DLC, which is basically an alternate ending with an actual final boss fight. Though, gotta say, the Final Horizon DLC bumps this game from 7 out of 10 to an 8 out of 10. Since Sonic fucking aura forms so much during the final battle, it is genuinely one of the funniest things I've ever seen. And it's cool. When I played it for the first time, it felt cool. It felt Sonic like was cool again. And there was a JoJo reference in there somewhere. This game is super anime inspired, and I love it. Now, I know that the games I have listed are more than 7, but fuck it, I didn't list the last 2 because I'm still, I've just finished Frontiers, and I'm still going through Hollow Knight Silksong. So yeah, and that's basically it for the games I have played during 2025. Overall, some really fantastic experiences that I would 100% recommend. But now, we're done with the fun part. Let's talk about something a little bit more real. I don't know why I'm holding it like a toddler, but cool, I guess. So, hi, how are you guys doing? Now, this section originally was recorded during the time, on the same day that I was recording this entire video, but I decided to rewrite the script for this section because it is very important to me, and I think it's really important to give it my all for this one. So, yeah, new day, new haircut, I don't look like an absolute buffoon, and yeah, let's continue, or let's continue. I don't fucking know. Let's just continue. Now, I have rewritten this section over 3 times at this point because I didn't know exactly how I want to present it, how am I gonna speak, and if I'm gonna be quote-unquote friendly or not. It is pretty safe to say that my blood boils every single day thinking about the atrocities that Israel has been committing in Palestine. I'm sure you're a sane human being who knows what's happening there, so I'm not here to talk about what people are already saying and have said. What I'm here to talk about is actually taking action. You might already know this and are actually doing it yourself, which hats off to you. However, some people just don't know, don't care, or have lost faith in what they were doing. Believe me, the times where I have questioned why I'm doing that are so numerous to count. Anyways, what is this action I'm talking about, you may ask? Simple. It's boycotting. Now, I understand some people don't think boycotting works as intended, or are fucked enough to actually give it a try. However, I have 2 rebuttals for this. My first rebuttal is that historically, boycotts have been used to resist and speak against tyrannical companies or regimes. Just look at the Montgomery bus boycotts in the 50s, or, you know, the fucking American Revolution. As for my second rebuttal, there are so many alternatives to current brands now that it's not really difficult to find an alternative for a brand that you're normally using. Now, let me be 100% clear here. Boycotting necessities is impossible, okay? For example, if you are a disabled person and you need the Amazon delivery services to get your everyday need, obviously you're not at fault here, nor can you be blamed for anything. But if you're someone who doesn't want to try any other alternatives to, say, Starbucks, for example, just because, OMG, I just can't function without my Starbucks cup of coffee in the morning, then maybe you need to check your priorities. And your brain. Now listen, I understand that feeling of sticking to something not only because you know it, but you have, you love it, right? I love Coca-Cola, for example. If you asked me a few years back which is my favorite soda, I would tell you Coca-Cola. Pepsi can get fucked all the way to Sunday. Coke is tastier and 1000% better. But now both can get fucked because each respective company supports the ongoing genocide. I gotta understand, I started boycotting ever since the events of this damn day, when there was literally no other alternatives. The ones that were on the market tasted like absolute shit. However, at the end I stuck to my principles. Wanna know why? Because at the end of the day, whether it's soda, chocolate, movies, TV shows, or whatever, these are treats that we can live without. Seriously, think about it for a second. Let's assume you're someone who goes to the gym. You're being consistent, you are sticking to your diet plan, and you're doing everything in your power to better yourself. But you can't be fucked enough to find an alternative to Diet Coke? Really? That's where you draw the line? Or instead of eating from, say, McDonald's, you can go and find another restaurant, which, by the way, I am 99% sure it's gonna be cheaper, better in every single way, and maybe even healthier. And that's speaking from experience. Originally, this section in particular was way more aggressive than I have presented it right now. And I decided to tone it down because at the end of the day, really, being aggressive towards people and antagonistic isn't really gonna help anything. In fact, it could even result in the opposite effect. And listen, I hate how few people actually listen and give boycotting a try. But it's either that or you alienate them from the start. Now, with all of that out of the way, how can you boycott? Simple, really. The cool folks at the BDS movement, not sponsored, have made a list of primary targets. And they also have an explanation to why some companies are not on this list, which I'm gonna leave on screen if you wanna read, or I'm gonna leave the link in the description if you wanna read the whole article. All I really say is that I agree with them 100%. However, I also wanna add that if you have your own boycott list on top of the major ones, hats off to you. I am doing the same thing. All of this boycotting and talking about awful companies and countries and all that is really cool, but I feel someone is missing. Oh, hey! So if you don't know, the UAE, who are also allies with Israel and America, have been supporting the RSF, who are also committing a genocide against the people of Sudan. From what I've read, people being forced to dig their own graves and being buried alive in said graves. Women of all ages, yes, that includes children too, reportedly being people hanged from trees by their hands as a form of torture, and so much, much worse, all in the name of getting the UAE's grubby little hands on Sudan's gold. So, while you're at it, boycotting Israel, why not also boycott the UAE? I know this might all seem very overwhelming and you don't know where to start, so I'm gonna recommend you an app, which is not sponsored again, called No Thanks. It's an app that I personally use where they have a big list of companies that are on the boycott list and alternatives that you can find in the stores. And remember, you're doing it for a good cause. You're not doing it to look good or doing it for a trend. You're doing it for a good cause, because assuming you're a sane human being with morals and principles, I need you to ask yourself a very good question. Why would you, a sane human being with morals and principles, would support companies that are supporting genocide? You're boycotting for the sake of people who are in need of help. You're boycotting for the sake of people who are oppressed by foreign powers. You're doing it for the sake of resisting and pressuring complicit companies to change their policies of supporting the aggressor. I also want to leave a very small and important note here, which is you can't boycott anything and everything that is even slightly related to Israel. It's almost nigh impossible. For example, Nvidia has invested $1.5 billion into Israel, into building specifically a AI data center, which, by the way, Israel uses this AI data to continue committing their genocide. So you would think that switching over to something like AMD would be 100% better. Unfortunately, nope. They have R&D offices there. So what are you supposed to do? Are you supposed not to build a PC? For this, I also have 2 rebuttals. Wow, we're keeping the 2 rebuttals trend alive. Number 1, you can't because of AI. Number 2, that circles back to the point that the BDS movement have made. Boycotting primary targets is way more effective than boycotting everything and anything that's even slightly connected to Israel. And if these companies started to fail, and hell, maybe even change their ways, it will send a very loud and important message to other companies that if you don't change your ways just as these companies didn't, you will be next. So this concludes this video, thankfully. I know I hate to end it on such a dark and grim topic, but this is something that we need to speak about. These are important topics that we just can't wave away or not think about, because at the end of the day, I feel like a lot of people nowadays have lost that feeling, that emotion. We call it empathy. I feel like everyone in the world right now is so not self-absorbed, but just thinking about themselves and only themselves, to the point that we can't even work together, or to the point where people who are in need are not listened to. So we need to speak about topics like this, and we need to take action and either protesting or boycotting if you can't protest. What is next? We have one final thing to talk about, which is what is next. What is my plans for 2026? Actually, I have two goals for this year. Goal number one, we have already discussed: being more consistent, making better quality videos, taking my time when I make my videos, and just being a good YouTuber in general. And I understand this is gonna take some time and there's gonna be bumps along the way, but that's part of the journey. The second issue actually relates to that whole section that this video was recorded. If you don't know, there's this organization, we're gonna call it, is called Stop Anti-Semitism. Basically an Israeli propaganda machine. This cesspool of hatred towards anything that is human has been making awards for anti-Semite of the year. Guess what? This list includes anyone who has been speaking out against Israel. Those were the 2025 nominees, and those were the 2024 nominees. Now, aside from the fact that these pieces of filth decided to put Miss Rachel on there, one of the nicest and the most empathetic human beings I have ever seen on this goddamn planet, and the fact that they have put Bassem Youssef on their 2024 list, making us all proud, Bassem. What this org is doing is, ironically enough, the opposite of what they're trying to do. By label anything that speaks out against Israel as anti-Semitic, they're making this word lose all its weight. Meaning you're actually hurting Jewish people more than benefiting them. I don't know about you, but sounds very anti-Semitic to me. And listen, I know that these organizations and Israel itself don't care about Jewish people and their heritage or anything like that. They're just using it as a shield to protect them from any criticism or anyone speaking out against them. Oh, and these people who have been nominated are being attacked and are receiving threats just because they are speaking the truth. So it's very obvious what my goal is. I want to be on this list in 2026. Now, call this a rebellion, call it stupidity, call it whatever. I really don't care. I'm doing this to show these scum that these scare tactics don't actually work, and the more you do them, the more people will speak out against you. Also, I don't know if you guys know this, but isn't this called terrorism? Maybe it's just me, I'm just saying. So yeah, these are my goals for 2026. Nothing really more to say here. I hope you have enjoyed this video. I hope that 2026 will be a better year than any of the previous year for me and for you and for everyone. And again, I'm sorry to end the video on such a dark and grim topic, but like I said, these are important things that we need to speak about. I don't think that this is a political issue. I think it's a humanitarian issue, and because it's humanitarian, we should all speak about it. That's basically it for me. Thank you all for watching. Remember, fuck Israel, fuck the UAE. Don't stop talking about Sudan. Don't stop talking about Palestine. And I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.